Good day, ma'am. Good day, classmates. This is John Joseph Morales, one of the members of Group 5, and I am the first reporter. Today, I'm going to report about play Cadaver, and the summary of the play Cadaver is that on the edge of cemetery in a very poor neighborhood, it depicts the unfortunate situation of their way of life in the city. The characters are poor and lack of the fundamental necessities and resources of life. Thorio is gravely unwell and hardly able to function even though he has a well-built body figure. Doctors refuse to pay Thorio and house calls since they don't have the money to go to the hospital, even though he is dying, is what Marina said when she arrived home from the dispensary. She has an intimate relationship with Thorio and they both live together. Thorio got sick when, one creepy night in the cemetery, he and Carding opened the graves of the rich, stole from them, and got scratched by one of the dead bones. Carding is Marina and Thorio's friend, and has a frail body. Carding said that it's believed in the town that if one gets wounded and scratched by the bones of the dead, that person will die. However, Carding and Marina could not get doctor to treat Thorio, for they have no money, and also Thorio refused to go to the hospital since he hates it. Thorio sees nothing wrong with robbing the dead. However, his friend Carding tries to persuade him to stop robbing the dead of their treasures. Carding thinks it is frightening to offend the deceased because they'll never know what they'll do to punish us. Still not be shaken, Thorio does not believe that the dead will be able to do anything harmful besides hunt them. Carding answers by saying, I'd rather offend living people. And when Carding said, I haven't had good night sleep since we started that thing. It is so mean and ugly, just like stealing candy from an innocent baby. Thorio replied, Carding, if you start being sentimental in this world, you'll starve to death. To continue the report about the summary of the play Cadaver, may I call the next reporter, Mr. Lou Impas. You may take over. Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. I'm Lupi Impas, and I will continue the report of John Joseph. Marina was so shocked when Torio confessed about their gruesome kind of work. Torio and Carding eventually explained their business to Marina and how they have been able to support themselves. They tell Marina about how, in order to make ends meet, they were compelled to steal from the dead tombs and graves in the cemetery. Torio goes on to say that robbing the dead was easier than robbing the living because the chances of being caught were lower. Why let these things rot under the ground when people like us are starving? Torio believes he felt resentful of the privilege since they were bored with jewels and luxury items. The dead won't need these goods in the hereafter, yet he was still fighting to make ends meet. And when Marina asked Torio why he do such things since that is the place where they find shelter when they have now where to go. Torio said that he hates them, and he further explained, one rainy night, as I was coming home, I ran for shelter to the nearest tomb, that one near the road belonging to a dead millionaire. It was so beautiful, it looked more like a palace than a place for a dead. It had thick marble walls and a roof, and festive lights. Inside Inside it was a dead body in a coffin. It was dry in the rain and comfortable even in death. Why should that dead merchant have marble walls, and a roof to protect him from the rain? While I was outside, soaked to the bone and shivering, waiting to go home to a dank, dank place with a cardboard roof that leaks even in the lightest rain. Why? He's dead, and I'm alive. I have more I have more right to the things wasted on him. Don't you think so? Don't you think we need thick walls more than the dead? Thank you, and next presenter, please.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. I'm the Christian A. Limbago, and I am the next reporter. Marina was very disappointed of what he heard from Torio. She then said to him that what you did was a horrible sacrilege. If you die, heaven will not receive your soul. Even hell will refuse your damned soul. This makes Torio ravingly mad until he collapsed. When Torio regained consciousness, he was looking for Carding and said that he did not mean what he said about him. Cardin then replied that he understands him. Torio asked to a short nap but never wakes up again. Torio died as a result of being wounded by the dead bone in the cemetery. And they believe that if you are injured or wounded by the dead, you will be next to die. He died in peace, even if he committed a sin from the dead people in the cemetery. The dead are not cruel and vindictive like the living. That the dead will understand him much more than the living people could ever will.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nachela Ponce, and I'll be continuing to report the summary of the play The Cadaver by Alberto S. Florentino. The play depicts the difficulties that the poor experience on a daily basis, such as not being able to find decent work because they are uneducated and not having enough money to buy food and medicine when a member of their family becomes ill. This is the information and events that the play wished to convey to the readers. The play does not teach us morality. Instead, it encourages people to use all means necessary to live. It infuses in the mind of people the belief that the aim justifies the means, which is not always true. These statements may support the idea that feeding one's stomach is more essential than respecting others for criminals and the poor. The people may believe that they have no choice but to do injustice to others after reading the play. The impoverished may believe that their offenses would be forgiven just because they are in urgent need, but this should not be the case. The moral of the story is that become irrational when they are in urgent need. The uneducated people are in a very poor situation, chooses to do kapit sa patalim to continue living in this unfair world. That will be the end of my report. I'll give the next slides to the next reporter. Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. I am Ivan Lumaad, and I will be presenting Exposition to External Conflict. Protagonist: Torio, around 27 years old, with a square jaw and well-developed body. He's sick, his eyes closed as if he's sleeping. He lives in a makeshift house on the edge of a cemetery in Manila with his wife, Marina, and steals jewelry from the grave with his friend Carding. Because of his poverty, he struggled to live and obtain medication for his illness. So Marina, she is a plain woman of 25 or 26, slopely dressed in a formless, tunic-like gray dress. She is the wife of Torio. Carding is a frail-bodied, slow-moving man dressed in a filthy slacks and a t-shirt. He is a friend of the bedridden Torio, and they both live in slums, and out of desperation for money and peer pressure, he becomes involved in Torio's wrongdoings. So antagonist is poverty and homelessness. Setting place set on the edge of the cemetery of an impoverished area in Manila. Internal conflict. Torio, who is having an illness, refused to go to the hospital because they don't have money. External conflict. Torio and Carding steals valuable things from the tombs and graves of the dead in the cemetery. So let's go to the next reporter, Mr. Jericho Sarabia. Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Jericho Di Sarabia. I am the next reporter. I will be going to present the rising action. First, Carding visited Torio in his house to see his condition and talk about it. Torio and Carding argue for the reason that Carding wants to give up from their business. Marina arrived home from the dispensary without bringing a doctor, which is needed to check Torio's condition. Marina and Carding argued on what they should do, convinced Torio to go to the dispensary. Torio claims that Carding and Marina are eloping, and he insisted that they want him to die so they can be with each other. Torio expressed his feelings and emotions to Marina of what he feels before he died. Marina asked Carding to forgive Torio because he doesn't know what he is talking about. Torio doesn't want Carding to take over his business due to his incompetency.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. I am Jason R. Alaria, and I am the last reporter. And I'm going to report the climax, polling action, and resolution of the play Cadaver. The climax of the play Cadaver is when Torio reveals to Marina that they steal valuable things like pieces of jewelry and even gold teeth from the dead in the cemetery, which they would sell in order to make a living. Marina said that God saw what they did and that was a horrible sacrilege. Torio keeps on saying that Carding and Marina were both waiting for him to die, and then Torio suddenly collapses. Following action, Torio and Carding settled their argument and became friends again, and Torio died. The last is the resolution. Torio died in peace because even if he committed a sin from the dead people in the cemetery, the dead are not cruel and vindictive like us. They will understand him much more than the living people could never will. That's all. Thank you.